Lads. Lads, welcome to the first live match preview. In this video, I cannot make any mistakes because it's normally me, not Hal, making mistakes. How you doing, Hal?
Tickety-boo.
Excellent. That's what we like to hear. Now, we're going to run through it like we usually do, just like a normal video, but obviously it's live. So first up, in the last game, Sheffield United played Manchester City. I was actually really looking forward to this game. I thought we were going to get something out of it at home against Man City. What a fool I was. So, we went 1-0 down, obviously, to Kyle Walker's goal from the edge of the box, right into the bottom corner. I don't think Ramsdale really could do anything about it. But really, after that, I couldn't see us getting back into the game. I think Lundstrom's shot over the bar that got cut back from Sanderberger was the closest we were ever going to get. But yeah, I just thought we were really poor in the game. But obviously, I've been through this all already. The fans react have been through this already. So shall we move on to last time out, Hal?
Yeah, you remember it well. Chelsea 2, Sheffield United 2, Nick. Chelsea were 2-0 up by half-time. It looked like it was going to go the way of many of the pundits' previous predictions. It was early on in the season, so no one really knew the kind of Sheffield United team that we were last season. Tammy Abraham struck twice. We knew all about him. We'd seen him in the Championship, and it was Blade's defensive errors. You might recall a spill by Dean Henderson, one under pressure from Pulisic, gave Abraham the chance for his first. The second was another defensive mix-up. And it really did look like it was just going to be one of those days. But then, second half began. Callum Robinson, he struck in the first minute of the second half, gave us hope. And then we all thought Lys Mousset had equalised with Kurt Zouma kind of getting the final touch on that, but we didn't really know that at the time. And that ensured a draw. It was definitely later given as a Zouma own goal. But that result at the time put the Blades above Chelsea. We were 8th in the table, 2-2.
Yeah, I don't know if we were ahead of them for that much of the season, actually, because we've been ahead of a lot of the top six, if you like, for a bit of the season. Obviously, we had a great season last season. We are still second bottom, I believe. Am I right?
It could be third bottom, second bottom. Yeah. I haven't looked at the table because I don't want to.
Yeah, I know. Fulham overtook us because they beat West Brom, didn't they? But I don't know if that was a good result or not. I think West Brom, that's kind of brought West Brom back into it a little bit. I think if West Brom would have won, for now, they'd have probably been a little bit away from the relegation zone. But anyway, we'll go on to team news. I'll run you through the Sheffield United team news. So obviously, first of all, we saw a tweet from Sheffield United, and we've been seeing videos throughout the week that John Fleck and Lys Mousset are back in training. That's what we want to see. Obviously, Jack O'Connell's still going to be a while, but let's take what we can get right now. A fit John Fleck would be excellent. However, I don't want us to rush him back. I really don't, because we don't want to see him being rushed back into the team, getting injured, and then having to worry about another injured kind of player. But yeah, John Fleck coming back in, Mousset coming back in would be excellent. But however, for this game, we're not going to be seeing them play. I think other than that, I don't think we've had any injury worries. But however, Chris Wilder definitely wouldn't be telling the media, I don't think, just before the game, because he doesn't want to give Chelsea any sort of pointers, I don't think. So, predicted lineup for the Blades, I'm going to go straight into it, and then we'll go back to Hal for the Chelsea team news, because Hal spoke with Carefree Lewis G the other day, the Chelsea fan. But yeah, predicted lineup for me is going to be Aaron Ramsdale in the goal, obviously. George and Max Lowe at fullbacks. Then Basham, Egan, I think it's going to be Ender Stevens again, surely. Then anyone's guess. It's anyone's guess, isn't it, really? I think it's going to be Norwood defensive midfield. Obviously, Ampadu can't play in this game because Chelsea is his parent club. I would, even though he didn't have an amazing game against Man City, I thought he played well. Osborne, that is. He really got stuck in, which you can't really say for the rest of the players. I thought the rest of them were pretty poor, but Osborne did get stuck in. I would go with Osborne again. And then Sanderberger on that right-hand side. We all love to see him pick the ball up and run towards the defence. I'm going to tell you what attack I would go for, and then I'll pass it over to Hal, because I'm going to go a bit different. I've seen a lot of people put in Brewster and McBurney trying to get a bit of a partnership going on. We do need that, but I think for this game, it's our last game against one of the top six, because we've had so many thick and fast games against the top six recently. It's our last game for a bit. So what I would do, I would go with McGoldrick as kind of an attacking midfielder. So just in front, like in that Duffy role, that number 10 role. And then I would have Ollie Burke up top, just running his knackers off. What do you think, Hal? What would you go for?
I don't dislike that at all. You know I'm a big fan of the McGoldrick playing in that Duffy role, and that's what Blades, I think, will call that role forevermore now. I'd just love to see it. So many Blades would. It's probably never going to happen away from home under Chris Wilder, and that kind of makes sense. I get the whole Ollie Burke thing because of his raw pace, and away from home, you're going to try and hit teams on the counter, and pace is useful there, particularly if it's long balls over the top. I actually would like to see Rhian Brewster and McBurney develop that partnership, because I think long term, those are the two. They're the two we spent the big money on that we really need to get firing. So that's what I'd like to see. You'll see on the @Sheffield United Way Twitter that we've put out a likely 11. And I'd like to take this opportunity to thank Adam Wilson from the Fans React, who actually selected this week's likely 11.
Oh, right. I thought that was you, to be honest, because you normally tweet those out, don't you, Hal?
Yeah, and I did tweet it out, but Adam insisted I put his 11. And he's a very insistent man, as you know.
I do. And like Hal's just said, all our social medias are down at the bottom if you want to go and click those follow buttons. We've got Sheffield United Way on Twitter, Sheffield United Way on Instagram, and then the Sheffield United Way on Facebook. We might have to remedy that because I don't like Facebook being different to the rest of them. Anyway, so we've been through the team news, we've been through the predicted lineup. We're on to score predictions now, Hal. Do you want to go first?
Yeah, well, we do know that, before I give you my score, that Kai Havertz is going to be out for Chelsea.
Oh, sorry. Man.
One of the big ones.
I've completely done you over here, haven't I? We need to go into the Chelsea team news.
To say that's a big miss for Chelsea. He's a positive COVID test. We wish him well. It remains to be seen whether Pulisic has recovered fully from the slight hamstring pain felt in the warm-up before the Blues' comprehensive victory at Burnley last weekend. We also know that Mendy is going to play in goal ahead of Kepa. And Kepa actually had a pretty decent game when we played in the 2-2. You know, for our first, he made actually a great save initially. So it'd be interesting to see what they go with in terms of the midfield, because that's the area where they're struggling. And Jorginho had an absolute nightmare against us when we beat them 3-0 at Bramall Lane. So I'd kind of like to see him play. Hopefully he has another off day.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's go on to score predictions now, shall we?
Yeah, I mean, on the Carefree Lewis G channel that I did a video for, it's not an easy name, actually, that one, to be fair.
You gave him a lot of credit for that name as well, didn't you?
I did, and then I've thought about it since. I'm going to go with the same prediction I made on that, because I think you've got to be consistent, and I went with 0-0, which I think we'd both agree, if we were give a 0-0 now, we'd snatch the hand off.
Absolutely, yeah. I've been against Man City, I said that we were going to win 1-0. I'm very, very pessimistic for this game. I'm thinking on the same lines of Lewis. He said 3-0 defeat. I'm thinking the same. This is probably the first time I've ever done a preview video and I've said that we're going to get hammered. Normally I'm like, yep, even though it's like Liverpool or Man City, we're going to get something out of the game. This time, I'm really not feeling it. I'm hoping that obviously it happens the other way around this time. So fingers crossed we get something.
It's taken its toll, Nick, these last few games on both of us and our incredibly positive outlook.
I know. And the views on the videos as well. They're taking a massive tumble, to be honest. So yeah.
That's just me.
So yeah, if you want to support the channel, make sure you like the stream right now. If you're enjoying it, let us know. We are going to come to some questions right at the end, but only for kind of player connections and stuff. We will get on there and find out if there's any more player connections that we've missed. But before that, we're going to go on to memorable matches, and Hal's going to start this off.
I could have chosen from 4 pretty memorable matches, Premier League encounters that I was looking at. We have beaten Chelsea more times than any other Premier League team. 2-1 away, 31st of October 1992. 4-2 at home, 8th of May 93. 1-0 on the 27th of November 1993. And the one I'm picking, 3-0, the 11th of July, which you don't normally hear fixtures in there, 2020. Where David McGoldrick got his first Premier League goal. He opened the scoring, pouncing after another Kepa decent save. He seems to only play well against us. He'd saved from a deflected McBurney shot in the 18th minute. Just 15 minutes later, and we scored again. Ender Stevens crossed the ball. Remember when Ender Stevens was Ender Stevens?
Yeah.
And McBurney was left completely unmarked in the 6-yard box. Powered home. Simple header, 2-0. We were really cruising in this game, and I never felt like we were particularly under threat. And the damage was completed when McGoldrick capitalised on a bit of a defensive mix-up. It was their turn to make a mistake in a fixture between us two, and he got his second late in the second half. It was just a wonderful game. Mousse could have had a fourth. I really enjoyed that match. My favourite from probably last season.
Yeah, it's just a pity that we weren't there. That would have been excellent to be there. Obviously, we had 3 at the back end of that season, didn't we? We had the Wolves last-minute winner where it would have been scenes, mate. It would have been
epic
scenes. And then we had the Spurs game. The Spurs game was a really, really good one because I remember not one person giving us any sort of kind of expecting us to get anything from that game because we were really poor before that game. And then that gave us a little bit of a springboard to go and beat Chelsea. And then obviously we went and beat Wolves in the last minute. So we had 3 very, very good home ties. But what it made me think of last season was we can only get up for the big games, which it seems like that could be a theme. But saying that, we got up for the Liverpool game, which that's what made me think that. And then we were really poor against Man City.
Yeah, sad but true.
Yeah, but anyway, on to player connections. Again, I always say this is my favourite part. I absolutely love this bit because I love thinking about the old times and whether it were good times or bad times. You've just got to love them. And I'll let Hal go for the first one because I've written 4 down. We're only allowed 3 each. I've written 4 down because in case Hal nicks one of mine. But
yeah, we don't know who each other's gone for. That's one thing worth mentioning. We deliberately decided to keep them a secret, a closely guarded secret. I'm sticking with the one that I always pick whenever I think of former Chelsea and Sheffield United players, Nigel Spackman.
Wow, great one. You were expecting me to say, actually, I'm not going to say it because that's going to be my first one. Is it going to be my first one? Because we've used it already this season. Do you want me to tell you mine? Actually, before we say that, Nigel Spackman, what a manager. Well,
yeah, a better manager than a player for United. I thought that his 24 fairly unremarkable appearances for the Blades were easily forgettable, and actually played for Chelsea in 2 stints, 83 to 87, 141 appearances. Then again, 92 to 96, 67 appearances.
And the thing is, if he'd have kept that team together, but obviously remember when Brian Deane and Jörg Fjordhoff were both sold in the same week. If he'd have kept that team and we'd have gone up, he could have had a very long and very good managerial career. But it never really took off for him after that, did it?
Yeah, completely agree. He made probably the wrong decision leaving when he did.
Yeah, probably. But at the same time, he may not have been able to. Well, we didn't have any strikers after that, or many good strikers, should we say?
Well, I think Dean Saunders would argue that.
True. Okay, fair enough, fair enough. Do me like that live, Hal. Right, okay, so what I'm going to go for, I've got to hold my hands up. I've cheated a little bit because I went on my video from last season to see who I could pick because I was stumped to be honest. We've obviously got Ethan Ampadu. I'm not going to allow either of us to have him because I don't really think he's even played for Chelsea, has he?
I was going to
I
ask
don't
you
think
that.
he has.
Tell us in the comments, has Ethan Ampadu made a first-team appearance for Chelsea, ideally in the league, is what we
Definitely
normally
not
talk
made
about?
a league appearance. I know that for certain. He may have made a cup appearance or two. So we'll not go for him. I'm going to go for Gary Cahill, one that I forgot last season. Obviously came to Sheffield United on loan. Probably was playing his best football at Chelsea. He played in the Champions League, played for England, but it was very good for us when he came to Bramall Lane. I think I remember him scoring away at Stoke when Stoke got promoted, and we weren't supposed to win that game, and we went to Stoke on a rainy, cold night in Stoke probably, and
It was. I was there.
And obviously won the game. So yeah, that's Gary Cahill for me.
I don't need Google this time, thanks to Ruben, who said that Ampadu has played in the FA Cup for Chelsea.
Thanks, Ruben.
David Lee is who I'm going with. 151 appearances for Chelsea, 5 appearances for the Blades, the central defender, when he was on loan in 1997. And I have to say, I thought David Lee was magnificent for Sheffield United. It was only 5 games, but he played brilliantly in all 5.
You're not allowed to make people up, Hal. David Lee.
There'll be plenty who remember David Lee. There'll be plenty.
Guys, let us know in the chat now. Do you remember David Lee? Okay, so I'm going to go for someone more recent and definitely not made up. Jamal Blackman. Oh no, wait! Jamal Blackman won't have played a league game for Chelsea, would he? Are you not giving me Jamal Blackman then?
You can't have it. A great goalkeeper playing for Rotherham and still doing the biz in between the sticks.
Yeah, he's had a very unlucky career, hasn't he? I don't think he was ever good.
With injuries.
Yeah, I don't think he's ever good enough for holding down a first team spot at Chelsea. But I think he should have moved on well before now. I think, he's a good Championship goalkeeper, isn't he? Middle at table Championship goalkeeper, I reckon. But he just needs to cut those apron strings. Is that the right word? And
I've never heard it, but go with it.
Okay. Cut the apron. I'm sure that's right. Anyway, I'll go with John Hawley then. We've used him already for the Fulham game, but I'm going to use him again because I can't think of any others.
John Hawley. I will go with Graham Stewart.
Oh,
who
did he play for Chelsea?
Yeah, he played for Chelsea 89 to 93, 87 appearances, 14 goals. We signed him from Everton in 1997. He played 53 times, scoring just 11 before moving to Charlton, where he actually played the most games of his career. Many would think Everton is where he played the bulk of his games, but he was part of a swap deal involving Mitch Ward and Carl Tyler, which happened on my 15th birthday. The 25th of November 1997, where my parents actually bought me a Sheffield United shirt with Mitch Ward on the back on the day he was sold. So I never took to Graham Stewart. I never liked him. He also scored the winner for Everton against Wimbledon in that rather odd, shall we say, 3-2 win that kept the Toffees up at our expense in 1994. It was a very shady game, that one. I'm still not happy. It leaves a bitter taste in the mouth. I think there was something suspect about that. He now works at a financial management company which represents the interests of sports people.
Wow, you've definitely done your research, haven't you, on Graham Stewart?
Yeah.
Definitely not bitter about Graham Stewart.
Don't like him. I mean, it's not his fault that these swaps.
I thought it was good though. I thought it was good for us.
Well, you know, I'm Hal Stewart, and he even spells Stewart the wrong way, so I've got nothing to like about him.
Fair enough. I think is that it?
That's it. That's my 3.
I think, have I done my 3 as well? Or no. I've got one left, haven't I? Yeah. Neil Shipperley.
Brilliant
Don't ask me how many times he played for Chelsea, because I didn't even know he played for Chelsea.
HMS Shipperley.
What a player. We'll not talk about his exploits of recent times. I'm not sure if anybody else knows about this, but I'm not going to say it live on YouTube. But
yeah, don't
you can Google it. You can Google it.
Well, don't Google it when the kid.
Sorry, say that again. You just went a little bit.
Oh, don't Google it when the kids are around. Is my advice.
Yes, that's true. That's true. Or if you are a kid.
Yes.
So yeah, Neil Shipley were brilliant for us though, weren't they?
Yeah, top striker. Particularly memorable was a goal away at Southampton when we were pushing for promotion, which I absolutely loved. I went as wild as I've ever gone. I remember I hugged a steward. Brilliant times.
Oh, good, good. So yeah, that's about it. How are you looking at the comments as we speak?
I've been keeping an eye on one or two. There is some speculation that Ampadu has played once in the league for Chelsea as well. So I'm going to click.
Right, okay, fair enough, fair enough. Has anybody else put in the comments about? Is there any other Chelsea players that we've missed out on?
I think it's such a hard field. There's been so few transfers sort of ever between the clubs and players that have played for both. It's certainly in our lifetime. I think we've done pretty well there.
Pretty good, pretty good. I'm very happy with that. Anyway, I think we're going to leave it there. The reason why we're trying to keep it as short as possible is so that people don't kind of try and watch the video afterwards, see that it's an hour and 10 minutes long, and then think, oh, I can't be bothered to watch that. So we're going to try and keep it as much like the usual videos as we can. So I'm going to say thank you very much, Mr. Hal Stewart, for coming on yet again.
Thank you, Nick. As always, a pleasure.
Yeah, thank you, guys. Thank you, everybody, who watched it live. And, stay in good Nick. Hal, you got to say it.
Oh, yeah, stay in good Nick.
Good Nick.